All right, hello everyone. I'm here yet again to talk about The Curse. Now, if you're anything like me, ever since the show ended, you can't stop thinking about, and you also can't stop thinking about what would these characters' lives look like after the show ended.
Something bad is bound to happen to me.
So I want to get into that today. Now, yes, this show feels like it was pitched as a limited series throughout the season airing. We were all under the impression that it was going to be a one and done. However, there are two pieces of information that have come out throughout the show airing that suggest to me that potentially we could actually get a season 2. Number one is in an interview, Benny Safdie actually said to a reporter that there would be more stories he'd like to explore in this world, but as of yet, nothing is confirmed. I feel like if this was truly a one and done, he would have just said, nah, it was a limited series. I'm glad we got a season and that's it. Secondly, Emma Stone was up for a Golden Globe for her performance in The Curse, and instead of being put in the limited series category with all the people from Beef, she was actually put in the lead from a drama series in the same drama category as shows like Succession and The Morning Show, suggesting that when this show was pitched to award shows, it was pitched as a television series rather than a limited series. So that gives us at least a nugget of hope that we could get a season 2. But I get it, you're all sitting at home probably going, the ending literally involved the main character being thrown into space, suffocating and dying. How on earth could we get a season 2? And that's what I want to talk about today. First off, I'm just going to go through some comments on my last video exploring the final episode and the ending that suggests what season 2 could look like, and then I'm going to get into my own theories. So let's go. This first comment from Idrathernaut8459. I'm just editing. I literally read out that name as Idrathernaut8459 instead of I'd rather not 8459. I am so sorry. That is so cringe. I think a second season would be possible by following Whitney and 5-year-old Asher, who is consistently showing that he's his father. Dougie and Whitney could be filming another show and using the kid to sell it, but he's been so weird that it ruins everything. I love this idea. This is like a hysterical, like weird horror comedy premise to me. The idea that if we're following the rebirth, reincarnation theory of the ending of season 1, Whitney is giving birth to essentially a baby young Asher. The idea that basically they now have this kid that is as socially clunky and weird as Asher, ruining their HGTV show is like hilarious to me. The idea that she goes, oh, I lost a husband, but I've got a cute little kid that can help me boost the ratings. And then he just does like, things like the whole season. Hilarious. What a great idea. Like, this is a great horror comedy premise in the vein of like Beau is Afraid and a lot of earlier episodes of The Curse. Secondly, we've got a few comments from tags12345. For season 2, I think it should be about the possibility of Whitney or Dougie flying away too, because I don't understand why only Asher was terminated. I think the HGTV show would end up being insanely popular because Asher flew away like that, since it's a supernatural phenomenon. I can imagine Whitney on a more popular show than Rachel Ray like Oprah or The View, and the host is fully engaged in hearing her story. This is a really fascinating idea too, the idea that The Curse as a show will actually acknowledge Asher flying up into the stratosphere and the other characters left dealing with the implications of that, and also the idea that their curses are essentially coming. They will all get sucked up into the sky and it's just waiting for the right sequence of events to happen. Really cool idea, really haunting, and I feel like could create some great tension. I also love the comment from Unlisted 90086. I think season 2 should be a true crime retelling of season 1. I actually love this idea. Can you imagine, right? Season 1, we get a normal season of The Curse, or as normal as a season of The Curse can be. Then season 2, we don't even get it in the same world. We get like basically a spoof of a Netflix documentary that just tells the story of Asher being flung up into space and how that could have happened, what went wrong, who is the floating man. And that could be great, and here's why. Nathan Fielder is someone who has created shows before and then halfway through or mid-episode created another show within the show. In The Curse, for example, he has the HGTV show that they're making.
Old Green. That's why we're taking our hometown of...
In Nathan For You, he has The Hunk.
Have you ever had a threesome?
I have, yes.
Okay.
And he has The Claw of Shame. And he has entire episodes that completely detour off the central premise of the show. And I actually think knowing Nathan Fielder and his weird obsession and fascination with reality TV, with kind of interacting with the camera and the storytelling format, I think it would be an amazing idea if season 2 was a true crime retelling of what happened, because you could see how the people kind of view it, maybe how conspiracy theories start, maybe how people try to rationalize and explain and say, oh, he didn't actually get sucked up. The only eyewitness we have is Dougie, and he's an alcoholic who killed his wife, so why would we listen to him? And then maybe people start thinking that Dougie killed him or Whitney killed him or whatever, right? Could be really, really fascinating to basically see how this event is viewed by other people. But also, I'm going to take this idea further. I think it would be an insane idea if season 2 is a true crime retelling, but season 3 is another season of the curse. So you get how the world kind of viewed this insane incident that only we know happened, but then season 3 is basically back into the story, watching these characters actually deal with the fallout, with the public scrutiny. Maybe you throw in some weird, eerie, supernatural elements, which I'm going to get to soon. So basically now I'm going to get into my own ideas and my own theories. Now these aren't super substantiated, but I'm just going to get into the ones I like. Now first off, I really like the idea that was brought up before, the idea that basically Whitney thinks she's free from Asher, but she starts raising a kid and it's basically like the Omen, right? Like it's this weird, demented, socially anxious, clunky kid, right? You need to behave. Stop eating my toes. I'm trying to do a video. So basically, my idea for season 2 would be you open up and it's the curse, right? And the show for the first couple episodes doesn't even acknowledge that insane ending that we saw. Asher isn't around, but the characters are kind of in denial, not talking about it. It's referred to as the incident. You don't know if what we saw actually happened or is a metaphor, like you don't know. But basically, Whitney is living a new life and she's glad that Asher's gone. And then there are sort of two ideas that have been floating around in my brain that I think could be really, really fascinating. The first one is, yeah, Whitney starts raising a kid and he starts showing similar character traits, similar signs basically, that he's kind of like Asher reincarnate, right? He's just a bit weird, he's a bit off, he has the weird like baby, where stuff, like all of it, right? Like just those weird Asher things, right? And maybe this is also signified by the fact that he's another cherry tomato boy, right? Just like all these things where as she's raising the kid, it's a bit like the Omen, right? Where she has a kid and it turns out to be the next coming of the Antichrist, right? So she starts realizing like, oh, he's got this thing wrong and he does this in social situations. And oh my God, like I thought I was rid of Asher, but my kid just keeps reminding of him. And maybe the kid's really like weird and sexually off and just like bizarre, right? I think it could be equal parts funny and horrifying. This weird sort of mashup of like the curse mixed with we need to talk about Kevin mixed with the Omen, just this like weird fucking kid that is like going around and like slowly starting to like terrorize and like poke at Whitney when she thinks she's finally free from Asher. I think that could be such a cool fucking idea. Next, I actually think if Dougie started forming like a really cool relationship with the kid and started being like, Whit, what are you even worried about? Like, this kid's awesome. And it's like, obviously Dougie is not a good judge of character. So the idea that like Dougie, this weirdo, and Whitney's kid are like getting along in this weird way and start like slowly psychologically tormenting Whitney, that could be her curse, this like existential punishment that she's like in this weird dynamic where she also needs the kid because she wants to appear like a good mother, to appeal as many HGTV viewers as possible. I think that's such a cool idea. Like I would watch that movie. I think that sounds so cool. Here's my other idea for season 2. So maybe again, you have a kid that is showing signs of Asher. He's still a bit weird, but not pushed as much, right? You just notice throughout the show, throughout Whitney trying to make this show, that the kid's a bit off and a bit Ashery, right? And then Dougie's still in the dynamic where he's hanging out with the kid and sort of co-parenting, because it was clear in season 1 that he was trying to like intercept that relationship at least a bit, right? And then after 3 or 4 episodes of kind of like holding the mystery of whether Asher really did float up into space, whether what we saw actually happened, Whitney actually has like a long discussion with Dougie or someone else where she basically goes, the only other person that witnessed what happened to Asher, this supernatural force pulling him up, was Dougie. And no one believes Dougie because he's an alcoholic. And no one listens to me because I was giving birth at the time, so they think it's just hysteria. And she says, you know, we've buried the story from the public eye. I believe it, Dougie believes it, but no one else believes us. So everyone just thinks he went mad and ran off because he was scared of being a father. So after that long drawn out discussion that she gives in the midway point of season 2, next episode, you got to knock on the door or ring of the doorbell and Asher's back.
Oh, sorry.
Let's go, it's an emergency, let's go! Nala, let's go!
Hi.
Nala! Let's go now!
We know each other.
Asher's back. And I think that is just so existential, so horrifying. Whitney's seen him flung up into the air, right? And Dougie's seen him fly off into space. No one else believed it. People thought it was a TV stunt. People think he's just been missing. And now he's back. Now it looks like Whitney and Dougie are crazy. The son thinks that the mum has been lying and actually it was just an absent father that run off. Or maybe that she was hiding him from his father. I think it'd be really eerie and really horrifying if the show solidifies that yes, in fact, Ash was thrown up into space and now they're there's this changeling, there's this imposter. He's back and we don't know how, and Whitney can't escape him yet again. And not only that, but now she has two Ashes. She has the weird baby one and she has main Asher. I think it would just be like really horrifying, and especially given the fact that we didn't get any concrete answers as to why the ending of season 1 actually happened. Yes, we've all speculated and we've come up with our own theories. I think the show could pull this off in a way where there's enough details where you can kind of figure out, like, maybe there's something supernatural going on, maybe this is all in their head, who knows. But I just think the idea as an audience that the moment we give up on Asher even being in the season, he just shows up and he's really uncomfortable, and maybe he's a bit different. Maybe he's still socially anxious and has these really cringe moments, but the humor and the kind of like softness he occasionally had is gone, and he's just this really dark, cold version of Asher. And it sort of recreates the tension that's at the end of Gone Girl, but like gender swapped, where now Whitney is seen there in this house with this man she thinks she knows, but everything's off, and she locks the doors when she goes to sleep because it's like, who is this guy? Why isn't he talking about the insane thing that happened when he was being sucked onto the roof? What is going on? I don't know the conclusion for this story. I just think as a season of television, the idea that a main character that we all accepted is dead comes back in a horrifying, haunting, like weird, unexplainable way, and just starts psychologically tormenting the characters out of guilt, and like the fact that they like buried his story and like ignored his pain is so fucking fascinating to me. Nathan Fielder, if you're watching this, like, let's hash out these ideas, please. Like, I would love to. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I do just want to acknowledge something really quickly. First off, I was going through my old curse videos and I noticed that at 1 or 2 points, I referred to Native Americans or natives as Native Indians. Really dated of me. I don't know how this like slipped out. I'm really sorry. I'm not from America, so I'm not super up to date. I think it just slipped out as something that was taught to me when I was younger. Really bad, and I'm sorry. A very Whitney moment. Yes, I'm sorry. I will do my best to like never do that again. It was really whack. Secondly, in the last video, I used a lot of Reddit comments. Now, I did my best to actually have the Reddit comments in the screenshots, but there were a few I missed. And unfortunately, when I was taking these screenshots, it was just to send to friends about the show. I wasn't screen showing them in the hopes that I actually use them in a video. So when I used them in a video, I only had the cropped versions that I sent to my friends. So I'm really sorry about that. I've done my best to find them again, and I'm going to list the names here that I used, but I am really sorry about that, and I'll do better on that too. In terms of articles I used, they were the episode 10 review from Vulture, the episode 10 review from Rolling Stone as well. But yeah, just sorry about those two things. Bit whack of me. I'm a new YouTuber. I'm doing my best, and mistakes are going to be made along the way, but I will do my best to rectify these when people point them out, and thank you for pointing them out. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and please let me know what you'd like to hear more of on this channel. I'm thinking of doing a video on Poor Things, as well as a video on the Mean Girls franchise. If you guys really don't want either of those videos, let me know, or if there is something you really want me to talk about, let me know as well. Thank you so much for watching. I love the curse. I'm sad that it's over, but hopefully I'll put together like a massive video essay on the show in like a month or two, if you can wait that long. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and have a lovely day.